Hey everybody, this is Andrea Paquette. I'm president and co-founder of the Stigma-Free Society, and I'm really happy you can be joining us on this Friday before our weekend. It's really refreshing to meet new people and to bring them on the show for the Stigma-Free Society, and we have Kelsey Aida here today. And how you doing, Kelsey?
Hi, I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. Where are you located?
I actually just moved to Charlotte, North Carolina, but currently I'm in Savannah, Georgia, visiting my folks.
Nice.
Yeah.
Amazing. And I am really impressed with all of the things that you are doing. How old are you?
Guess.
I don't know. I'm not playing that game.
I love when people play that game. I'm actually only 26.
Wow. And that's so funny because that is exactly what I was going to say. But you've accomplished so much that's why I ask, right? And I feel like, you have a real amazing bio that I'm going to share with everybody right now.
Yeah.
Okay. So Kelsey Aida is a next generation thought leader who has taught thousands of people how to own their power and win at life through her inspirational blog, online courses, and international retreats. Ooh, I want to talk about that.
Definitely. Yeah, I was telling you about
No. She's also the author of #ActuallyICan, The Art of Affirming Yourself to Greatness, Affirmations for Happiness, and co-host of the popular personal development podcast, High Vibe in It. Visit KelseyAida.com. Maddie will put that up in the comments here, and learn how to manifest the life of your dreams.
Woo.
How positive. I love this. Yeah. And so first and foremost, I'd really love if you shared a little bit about yourself, what your passions are, how you came to be a writer, podcaster. But first and foremost, just give our watchers, who is Kelsey?
Yeah, so this is a great question. I like how you phrased it. I would say I'm someone who's really creative, really expressive, very skilled at teaching and explaining. And so that's something that inspired me to, once I learned things that were working to help me, because I used to be severely depressed for 3 years. So that was what started my conscious spiritual awakening. And that's when I really dove into personal development and self-help. And once some of these techniques and practices and perspectives were really helping me, I was like, well, I can't just hoard all this information to myself. Everybody must know. So I was like, I'm going to be an author, but I didn't have any training. I'm actually a cosmetologist by trade. So I do hair, and I still do hair part-time. And then I do all of this the rest of the time. And so I would just say I'm really diverse and eclectic, and I really like to help people feel better, whether that's by making them pretty at the salon or writing books that help people to feel better, or my podcast. So I'm just a creative, spiritual girl who really likes psychology and teaching about how to make your life easier.
Nice. My best friend of 23 years is actually a hairstylist. Nice. She would be very inspired by you becoming a writer, and she wanted to create this book called Under the Cape, and just to share stories of people, because you're talking about your story, right? You've dealt with some really tough stuff, and I'm wondering if you'd be okay if you dwelled into a little bit of your mental health story, considering we're the Stigma-Free Society and we love to share lived experience stories. So would that be okay?
Yeah, totally. So my mental health journey, I feel like I was always I would have considered myself pretty healthy until my late teens. And I thought that the responsible thing to do, because I wanted to be sexually active, was to go on birth control, which messed up all my hormones and my brain wiring and made me so crazy. And I became unrecognizable. I was so angry and I was so depressed, and then I didn't like doing anything I used to do, and I didn't want to be around people anymore, which is unlike me because I have so many hobbies and passions. And then it was timing too, because I always grew up training to be a professional ballet dancer, and then I had all these injuries, so I couldn't dance, which of course makes you depressed when you can't do the one thing that you live for. So it was just basically a lot of things happening at once, and I just kind of fell into this deep, deep hole. And the sucky thing about the law of attraction is like you're thinking all these bad thoughts about your life, and then you're like confirming it with like your circumstances, even if they aren't that bad. It's like the lens, right, that you see it through. So then my lens was all foggy, and I was just like having a bad time. And my options were like, okay, well, I'm either gonna like contemplate suicide because this is not fun, or I'm gonna like figure it out and learn how to like have a good life. So I was like, well, at least try to like figure it out first, since I know that like I used to be happy and like bubbly and have energy and passions and hobbies. So I must just be like sick, like temporarily. Like you get a cold and your body knows how to get better. You get the flu and your body knows how to get better. So I was like, well, it's kind of like I just have like an emotional cold. Like I'm sure that there's ways to get better. So I saw a therapist, which is really helpful. I didn't want to use any medication just because I was so scared of like putting extra stuff in my body at that point from like the birth control triggering everything. So I was like, no meds. I just want to be like natural and just do this with my support of a team and my new perspective change. And so eventually I was able to kind of just dig myself out with the right support and looking at things differently and rewiring my brain. And one of the tools that really helped me when I was first starting to dig back out was I started a gratitude journal because a friend was doing it, and I was like, oh, I'll try anything. So I tried that. And after 3 weeks of doing that, I felt better than I felt like even before I was depressed, because I was looking for everything in my life that was good and that was working. Yeah. And there were so many things once I just started looking for that. But when you're depressed, you usually don't look for those things. They're not even in your awareness because you're still swallowed by depression. So yeah, that was the first part. And then of course I've had like other, I would call them dark night of the soul moments in my life. But that was the biggest one that kind of like started me on a catalyst to doing this type of work.
Yeah. Wow. So interesting how we have our own stories and our own experiences. Like for myself, having bipolar disorder, I've been taking medication myself for 17 years. And then other people, you know, they just, you know, don't need it. And some people do need it. And either way is totally okay. And I think it's very beautiful how you have put in the work. I found a path, right, to cultivate healing. And so what I just want to go straight into this, actually. Yeah. I'm very positive about this. It is Affirmations for Happiness. And I get up in the morning now because your publisher sent this to me to review, and I decided I really wanted to interview you. Mm-hmm. And you open it up, and it has simple statements, quotes, ideas about life, really, is what I see. So for instance, this one says, "Thriving is my calling, and more joy will get me there. Connection is my key to fulfillment." And then it has a little write-up here from Kelsey. "I make it a point to connect with myself and others to support my joy and contentment. Connection with myself and the right people brings so much richness to my life. I'm thankful for all my valuable connections and will keep nurturing them with love." Tell me about this book. Tell me how it came to be and the genesis, and right to the publishing. I want to know.
Yes. Well, the first thing I want to touch on is that last affirmation that you talked about. Because if we're talking about depression and mental health, I found that depression really stems from just a lack of connection, whether you're not feeling connected to your soul, you're not having intimacy with other people. Like you might be around people, you might be popular or whatever, but if you don't actually feel seen, heard, understood, you're lacking that intimacy, right? So that is why I wrote that specific affirmation, because when you have like connection and intimacy in your life, you usually feel much better. And then the book, well, this is my second book about affirmations. So the other one, #ActItICan, is also an affirmation book because I'm so into how you talk to yourself and how you talk about your life. And the lens, it goes with like, how are you viewing your life, right? And just being aware of what stories am I creating about my circumstances? What stories am I creating about myself? Because you could have two different people with the same exact circumstances having completely different experiences based on the meanings they're assigning to their life. So this book, actually the publisher came to me and said, hey, we're trying to create a book to teach people how to be more happy. Do you want to write it? And I was like, yeah, I do. So they extended the invitation. I accepted the offer. And what I like to say is that I feel very connected to God, source, the universe, whatever you want to call it. And a lot of these affirmations just come through me as like a channeled message. So I sit down with the intention of, okay, what's going to be the most healing words for the people who are going to read this book? And then they come through, and oftentimes in the form of, well, for this book specifically, in the form of affirmations. Or you could call them mantras, or I like to call them beneficial perspectives, or it doesn't have to be, but,
I love it. I love it so much. And then you could just open up another section, and then happiness is my birthright. Like, just so many, it's like it applies all of these statements and quotes and thoughtful messages. Every day it's relevant.
Yeah, it's really designed to, like, you can open it to any page and start there. You don't have to read it from front to back in order.
Yeah.
It's really just like, ask, like in the morning, you can make like a little prayer, like, okay, universe, like, what do I need to know today? Or what's my most beneficial perspective for today? Flip to a random page and you're like, oh, that's what I needed.
Yes, exactly. And even a few of them, right? So every day, yes, an affirmation is very positive. It literally takes like 10 seconds to look at one affirmation and to take that in for the day and make that your purpose. I love it. Thank you for your positivity in the world. It's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, like, having depression and being on such a negative spectrum actually allowed the space to become so positive, because I feel like there has to be balance, right? So when you're an extreme feeler, it's like the more in this direction you can go, that also means the more in this direction. So, and some people are just here, right? Life is whatever. Some people are here. Some people like me are here. So it can be very extreme. Like, I'm sure you feel the same if you have like, emotions. So it's actually, from that perspective, a gift of feeling, and it's just about cultivating a good relationship with your emotions. And I feel like releasing the judgment of yourself for having them is half the battle, which is why a lot of the affirmations in the book are like about not judging your life, not judging your experience, not judging yourself, because that is what frees you to experience a lot more joy and happiness.
Yeah, and then you can apply that to how you view the world and other people, right? If you're accepting yourself, then stigma-free, one of our main messages is being accepting of yourselves and other people.
Yeah.
And so I think it also really relates to that as well. And I was wondering if you could share with me like 2 of your favorite mantras or thoughts that you've put in your books that really stand out for you.
Yeah, well, the first one is the title of my first book, which is Actually I Can. And that affirmation came, I don't even know, honestly, if it was like a Pinterest post, like something really superficial. It just like found me. And I was like, actually, I can. And then I just was like sitting with it, and I was like, yeah. And then I like made it my new like motto for life. And whenever I want to do anything, I was like, actually, I can write a book. Actually, I can feel better. Actually, I can do this. Like, if other people can do it, why can't you do it? Like, that was kind of my whole thing. So that was super empowering for me. And then lately, let me think of my favorite like mantra that I've been using lately.
And I bet it changes all the time too with where you're at in your life, right?
I mean, it can change like day to day with my intentions, or like week to week. What I used to do, which was really fun, is I'll take a Crayola marker and write my affirmation on the mirror and leave it up for like a week or 2 and just like work with that affirmation and intention for a while and then move on to another one.
Yeah.
I would say right now, one of my intentions is to release even more judgment to like bigger degrees than I have before. And so it's not necessarily an affirmation, but I guess it could be like I'm the most understanding version of myself. I'm practicing more and more compassion than I have before, things like that.
Yeah. And this one I just opened too, which I really like, is it is safe to have it all, you know?
Yeah.
There are limitations on life, and you can embrace exactly what you want. And this one says, I don't have to chase happiness. I only have to let it in. Because there's an abundance of happiness. I've really learned this in my own life, going through my own suicide attempt in 2005 with, with bipolar and stuff. And I soon learned in my healing that happiness is something that I didn't have to chase. I just needed to create my happiness, and it was abundant and letting it in, And so I love that. That's really awesome.
Because I think happiness I found is a 2-part game. So it's like getting rid of or alchemizing the things that are blocking you from achieving happiness. So getting rid of the blockages. And then from there, you're more open. And then it's about cultivating more happiness. So that's where like affirmations and positive thinking and gratitude journal all comes in. But like the healing work would be like going to therapy, like intense crying, like grieving, whatever you got to do to like resolve your distress, because you can't just go from like feeling super distressed to like, okay, I'm going to be happy now. Like there is a scale that you have to.
Yeah, there's some work in that for sure.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Can you tell me a little bit about Actually I Can a little bit more?
Yeah. So my first book, #Actually I Can, The Art of Affirming Yourself to Greatness, is really an affirmation guidebook to teach people how to use affirmations in a way that feels authentic to them. Because I find that affirmations don't work for a lot of people because they say things that make them feel like a fake or like a fraud, or things that make them feel stupid or whatever. And that's only going to create more separation inside of your psyche and like soul. So what you want to do is find phrases that empower you or bring you relief. And in that book, I have different areas of your life, like finances, relationships, like health, all the big ones. And then I list affirmations according to like how you feel about that area of your life. So it's like, if you feel bad about your relationships, there's a page of affirmations where all those affirmations will actually resonate with you and help you to feel less bad about it.
Yeah, definitely. I love that. Okay, as well, podcaster. When did you start your podcast? What's the title? What's the purpose? Do you have guests? Well, tell me about that.
Yeah. So the podcast is called High Vibe in It, and the name is based on like the vibrational scale, right? So when you're feeling low, you're in like a low vibrational state. Your energy is moving a little bit slower. When you're feeling good or in unconditional love or freedom or whatever, those are higher vibrational states. So we would say that the goal is to like raise your vibration, to increase your vibration. So we call it High Vibe in It. It's like our cute little name for the show. And it's kind of like a spiritual self-help, personal development podcast where we teach people how to love themselves unconditionally, how to manifest the life of their dreams. We talk about hypnotherapy because my co-host, Lindsay Robinson, is a hypnotherapist.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so we really approach healing from a very holistic perspective. So some days it'll be more psychological, some days it'll be more spiritual. And we do have guests. Most of the episodes have guests. Sometimes we do solo episodes with just her and I. Yeah. But it started because I had always wanted a podcast. And so, of course, it just like came to me, this opportunity. She got approached by this like radio network and they said, hey, you're a hypnotherapist. This is cool. Do you want your own show? And she was like, well, not really, but if you let me bring my best friend into it, like I'll do it.
Yeah. Then you have that bouncing off each other and like.
Right. So she didn't want to do it alone. But she calls me and she's like, hey, these people want me to do a show, but I said I didn't want to do it unless you wanted to do it with me. And I was like, yeah, I've been wanting to do a podcast forever. So I was the one who was like gung-ho, and we did it. And now we've been doing it for like over a year.
Awesome.
We have like 70 something episodes. So there's a lot of good stuff in there.
Is that weekly?
Yeah, every Monday we put out a new podcast.
Nice. I'll have to watch that and promote that. That's really awesome.
Yeah, you'll like it.
And also online courses. Is this something that you were doing pre-COVID, or is this adapting from another kind of course? Like, tell me about that.
Yeah, so I was already doing online courses because I just felt like I had stuff to say and I just wanted to teach it out of like a book. And so my first course is called Manifesting Masterclass, and that's to teach people about the power of their mind and how to consciously create their reality. And it's really for like beginners. So if you like just watch The Secret or something, you're like, cool, law of attraction sounds cool. Then like, that's the course for you. If you've already read all the books on it, that's not the course for you. It'll be too foundational. And then my favorite one right now is my latest course, which is called Radical Self-Love. And in that course, I teach like 14 different practices for cultivating more self-love. because that's been like my new jam. And in my one-on-one coaching, that's really what I teach. And on my retreat too, it's called Radical Self-Love, the retreat. So.
Okay. So that I mentioned the international retreats. Is this like in person?
Yes. So that's the only thing I do that's actually in person is this retreat. And I host it in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, which is where they film Bachelor in Paradise. Fun fact for anyone who's wondering. And we go to the beach, and it's only women, and we stay in this big fancy house, and we talk about our emotions, and we get rid of the blockages and the conditions that are stopping us from loving ourselves more. And we eat lots of tacos, and we go to the beach. And so it's like a fun vacation / healing week.
Yeah.
So yeah, my next one's actually coming up in January, and I have like 2 spots left. So if anyone's watching, they're like, I want to come, like reach out to me.
How much is something like that to have a spot?
At my retreat, it depends if you want to bring a friend and like do a sleepover vibe and share a bed. But mine is $3,500 to $3,900. Okay. And it's like all inclusive, like the whole week.
Everything, yeah. And how long is it? A week or 2 weeks? Or
it's 6 days, so just under a week.
Okay, awesome. Side note, I just got my Pomchi rescue pup from Puerto Vallarta.
Nice.
Yeah.
You got a Pomeranian Chihuahua?
Yeah.
That sounds so cute.
Yeah, he's adorable.
I love little dogs, and I love that your dog is Mexican. That's
I know. All he does is lay in the sun on the balcony. He's so happy because it's sunny here in Canada, actually on the West Coast at the moment.
Oh my gosh, you're in Canada.
Yeah, we're in Vancouver Island, actually. I'm in Souk, which is near Victoria, but you probably heard of Vancouver, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So little ferry ride of an hour and a half to Vancouver.
I gotta see pictures of this dog when we're done.
Well, I will definitely send them to you. So say, I've been like, I need your advice. A lot of people out here need your advice. Like, on one hand, it's more of the logistical, like, how did you get published? And like, how did you begin that process of finding that confidence to approach, or like, what happened to make that happen?
Well, my first book, I self-published, which was a process and a journey, but I liked it because you have a lot of control, right? And I designed the whole book front to back. Like, I wrote it in like 8 weeks because I'm like an insane overachiever. And from start to finish, it was like 10 weeks until it was like out in the world, because I just wanted to like work fast and make it happen. So the first one was self-published, and that is, as I'm going to make it really oversimplified, but it's as simple as if you can make a PDF, you can self-publish a book, essentially.
Yeah.
You just got to get some technological workarounds, formatting, but you can do it. And then the second book, the publisher reached out to me. And usually this happens if you already have some kind of established following or like a reputation of some kind, because obviously they want to sell a lot of books and make money.
Yeah. Cool. And so I was also going to wondering if you could tell me, how is let's go back to your online courses a little bit. I want to delve into that just a little bit more. How many of them do you have in total?
Just 2, just the 2.
And why are they unique? Like, why would you want to recommend that to somebody? What is so different about Kelsey's online courses?
Well, I think my flavor of teaching is like, when basically like this, when people listen to my interviews or podcasts and they're like, oh my gosh, I love her perspective, like those are the people who benefit from my course, because it's my unique view of life that's like the really valuable part. And then I basically help people to see it in a way that makes them feel better. So it's not always about changing your circumstances. It's about like changing the way that you look at things. So that's like really one of my gifts. And then also, the manifesting one, I'm like a manifesting wizard. So people are always asking me, how do you do it? How do you do it? How do you do it? And I was like, literally just watch the videos in the course. I explained it once and for all there, so I don't have to explain it a million times over and over and over. It just makes it like consolidated for me. Like, I can help more people if I pre-record myself and then they can take it at their own leisure. And then for radical self-love, I really just wanted to share all my personal practices that I learned from different teachers or just that came to me through different work. And I just think video is a really engaging way to learn. And it's like the next best thing to like one-on-one coaching with me. So if someone's like, well, I don't have $1,000 a month to hire Kelsey as my coach, like you can take this course for $300 and you get a lot of the same overlapping information. And it's just a better, creates a space where I can help more people, I feel like.
Yeah, well, definitely. There's only one of you, right?
Yeah, I only have so much time in the day. So in my life. That's also why I like to write books, because I feel like, okay, I can help thousands of people with my
yes,
yeah,
definitely. That is the best perspective, I think. Why are you, like, what do you find the most, like, I'm sure there's a few pieces, but I was thinking about you being so passionate, and what is it that makes you so passionate about doing this kind of work? Like, I know you shared a bit about the story, and maybe it's that, but is there anything else you'd like to share?
I think I've never actually like thought about this that hard, but now that you're asking, I think the reason why I'm so passionate about it is because my altruistic part. So there is a part of me that is like 100% altruistic, and she just wants everyone to be happy and free and live their best life. And like, that's the part that's like, you better teach this.
There's discipline in there with sugar sweetness, right?
Yes.
Obviously, to get things done.
It's like hardcore, but in like the best way.
Yeah. No, it's awesome. I love it. And what is a message you'd like to give people? Say like you're taking your thoughts. There's a lot of quotes and messages and books and amazing things you do, but say if someone is struggling out there, we get a lot of viewers, who look at our videos afterwards. We put them up on our YouTube. They stay on our Facebook, and we notice we get quite a lot of people who do look at these videos, and a lot of people who come to Stigma-Free are really struggling, and with their mental health or being judged or facing stigma. Do you have a message that you could share with them?
Yes, I would say for this specific group of people, try not to take on the opinions of others as your own, because your internal dialogue, if you can start releasing judgment of yourself, you're going to start manifesting people around you who also judge you less. Because a lot of times our relationships are, to certain degrees, mirrors of our relationship with ourselves. So I know that I've been in a relationship where he was so critical of me and so judgy of me. And it was honestly just a reflection of my inner critic. So when I started working with my inner critic and understanding myself better and having more compassion for me and what I had been through, he exited. The universe was like, bye-bye, through him.
I know, right? I'm just gonna say that.
He's got a lot better. So I would say make it a point to start releasing judgment, which goes with the whole stigma-free. And then the best way to do that is honestly by understanding and having compassion. Well, I feel like understanding naturally leads to compassion. So just understanding like what you've been through is hard, and like your feelings are valid, and you have a good reason for feeling the way that you do, and you don't have to feel that way forever. And the universe wants you to have what you want in a long-term sustainable way. So this phase that you're in, or this mental illness that you have, is just a catalyst for your desire to have the opposite, because healing is to experience the opposite of whatever is traumatizing or hurting you, right? So your bone is broken, and then it's in two pieces, and then when it's in one piece, it's healed. So it's like you will experience the opposite of whatever you're experiencing. It's only a matter of time. And if you want to get there more quickly, start by practicing more self-love, releasing judgment, understanding yourself, having compassion for yourself. And honestly, therapy is cool, guys. I just gotta say it. Therapy is cool. I really like it. Having a coach is cool. Shamans are cool. There are many ways to have support and healing.
And affirmation books, right?
And affirmation books are cool too. So there are lots of tools and resources. So just be open to those and try different things, you know?
Yeah, be open to that. Definitely. And I know what you mean. We mirror a lot of the way we feel inside. And I often felt when I self-stigmatized myself many, many years ago, I would invite these partners or people in my life unknowingly, really, who would stigmatize me.
Yeah.
And so when I grew a real confidence and an acceptance in my mental health situation, I wouldn't tolerate it anymore. And so you find a type of strength and happiness.
Yeah. And my other spiel is that feeling is healing. And it's very counterintuitive because when you have depression, you think, oh, I don't want to feel my sadness. I feel sad all the time. But the reason why the sadness lingers is because it's not getting processed. Okay. It's not coming up and out of your body, like physiologically. If you keep stuffing it, it's always just there in the background, like tapping on your shoulder, like, hello, pay attention to me. I need love. I need unconditional presence, but you never give it. And so then you get stuck in a depression for 3 years like I did. When you don't have to suffer so much if you can learn how to give unconditional presence to how you feel in a non-judgmental way, which is not easy, which is why I like to have a therapist to hold space for you or whoever. Yeah. But feeling is healing, so don't have shame in how you feel and just let it come up and out because you'll feel way better after you do that.
It's so, I love how you say feeling is healing. I always say sharing is caring.
We got our rhymes going today.
Like the rhymes. Okay, so where can people find you? Like, where would you like to send people to? Yeah. Would you like to share?
Yeah, everyone can find me at KelseyAida.com. And if you can see my little username down there, it's just exactly spelled like that, plus.com. I'm also on Instagram and Twitter at Kelsey Aida. Everything is on my website, the retreat, the courses, my blog, my podcast, the books. If you want to grab a copy of Affirmations for Happiness and give it as a present. This book makes a great gift, a little stocking stuffer for the holidays. So go grab some copies of that to spread the joy this holiday season because it's been a heavy year.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And you're doing a lot of spreading of joy and happiness. And I really loved interviewing you today. Thank you so much for being here. Please stay on the stream so I can thank you personally before you go. Yeah. And everybody have a beautiful weekend. I know where I am, it is very sunny. Take a walk with your dog from Mexico or wherever they're from. And have a absolutely wonderful weekend. So thank you very much and take care. Bye. Bye.